Okay, let me just check on the YouTube video. I think I forgot a few games. Okay, let's talk about the game that I should have put in the first video. For these parkour games, I'm just gonna kill two birds with one stone here and just try to talk about the old one and the new one. The old parkour game has become a staple on the movement genre on Roblox with its inspired gameplay from Mirror's Edge, releasing back in November 11th, 2008. But despite being a little clunky movement-wise, I can't really blame the developers since they were working with a 2016 Roblox engine, and for 2016 standards, it was fairly impressive since most of the games derived from prison life and obbies. Both old and new parkour games have gears that can be used to benefit the user in a bunch of ways. Gloves to interact with walls a little longer, the grappler being used to live your dreams of being Spider-Man when you were 8, and the zipline hook to use the zipline. Although, Parkour Reborn does have a little more to offer. The movement of the game just feels more fluid than most parkour games on the platform. You got times where it just feels like it's coming straight out of a cutscene, but that's if you don't mess up like I do. Reborn offers a few ways to play the game via time trials and missions, which upon completing the missions can reward you with credits and XP. You can sometimes take up delivery jobs if you need extra credits. And when traveling across the city, you do have the choice of activating laptops on the ground for some extra XP, since some of the missions are locked behind ranks. Another neat little thing is that Parkour Reborn does have a crafting system, so you can actually craft said gear. And, you know, sometimes the parts for the gears do cost credits, so you can find trash and sell that trash. I don't know why anyone would want to buy trash, but I guess. This game lets players play both in third and first person, and I feel like giving that option to players can create two different types of gameplay, even though it's just the same game. And just for added detail, your character does these little animations when standing still, and with given enough time, you even sit down. Sometimes I wish I could time the falls a little better. Oh well. Have you ever wanted to throw random items at people or PNGs? That is extremely specific. Who cares? Anyways, this is running from the internet. Another Xbox game where you can get items from Mario Kart boxes and throw a mini version of you, or put a wall in front of your enemies. Running from the internet starts you off with a loadout of 8, which you can edit the items from the help of the shop. The shop actually serves the use of providing items and changing up your playstyle. You can test out your items in the practice range if needed. These type of items are varied. Some of the items can be placed on the floor and some of them can even be thrown. But regardless of being placed in a similar way, the items work completely different. Some objects do damage and some items just stun you, and some of them just straight up fling you up into the air. But if you take in too much damage, you're going to want to use a consumable to make a quick escape or heal up. Consumables do take some time, so they aren't completely overpowered, so you can't just heal yourself up in an instant. The movement of the game just cooperates so well with the surrounding map chosen for the current round, since you have jump pads that make you leap pretty high and sliding to evade attacks and to temporarily gain a speed boost from doing so. This game has a few game modes to offer. Player versus player, where you can use items against other players. Players versus bots, where you can fight the PNGs together. King of the Hill has you stay inside the ring for points, and that ring does shrink over time. Free for all, everyone against everyone, and that's all the ones that I was made aware of. But all the game modes have one thing in common, and that's just trying to get points for placements. A thing about the Nextbox is that they come in high numbers and they can only damage you if you come into close proximity of them. And in the last minute, they become enraged, increasing their speed and their damage. It basically becomes just a whole chaotic mess. If you're looking for a game with swift and floaty movement and with a dose of chaotic energy, I highly recommend this game. Boost Factor is a game that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. The gameplay is very similar to that of a Sonic 3D game with its high speed aspects of the game. Instead of running, it goes for something different and has you sliding against other players in races. The tutorial of the game was actually pretty helpful. It taught me the basics of the game. No, I mean, that's what every tutorial is supposed to do, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. For some reason, I had to turn my FPS unlocker down to 60 frames per second because the gap at the end was literally impossible. I feel like I should have listened to the little disclaimer in the beginning, but honestly, I thought I was just bad. There's a sandbox mode if you don't like to wait for rounds to finish. It's good for practice if you need to warm up before a race. You compete in races to gain cash and XP for items in the shop, and the items that are being sold there are just bands and sprays. You can buy bands that are an upgrade from your last. You can complete daily challenges if you need some extra cash if there's a certain band that you really want. But I wouldn't know anything about that. As you can see, I have a lot of bands in my inventory. Alright, let's talk about some honorable mentions. The only reason why I put this as an honorable mention was because it can easily be compared to one of the other parkour games on the website, and I felt like giving its own little section might do it some justice. DC is one of the newer parkour games that came out, barely releasing, just about a year ago at the time of making this video. First, I want to talk about the amount of gears that you can put on, and all at the same time. You can put enhancements to almost every limb on your body just to aid you in jumping or wall climbing or whatever this is. You have the option to unlock skin crates, to customize your gear, and to make yourself look unique amongst the other runners. I've always wanted to look like Thanos with my golden gauntlet. And just for added convenience, they added teleportable spawns for easy access across the huge map for free. I'm looking at you, Parkour Reborn. And the tutorials have levels based on your skill to appease more people and to give more of a challenge after the last one, which can keep the engagement alive. Hackables are screens that can be found around the map and that can be edited by users and have them being seen by the whole server while they run. It kind of reminds me of one of the abilities from Watch Dogs whenever they'd hack a screen on the highway or something like that. Alright, that's all for this video. If you have any other video ideas, do let me know in the comment section below. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.